What is the most concerning data point in all of that is that if you go back a little prior to the Department of Ed being created in 1965, when Lyndon Johnson launched the War on Poverty, there was a gap of about 4 years worth of learning between students from the lowest income, the bottom 10%, and the top 10% by income. So it's the 90-10 gap. The difference between poor kids and more affluent kids was 4 years worth of learning in 1965. Today, it is 4 years worth of learning. We have not narrowed the gap at all. And that was the whole point of the war on poverty, right? A third of which, Johnson said, would be fought in the classrooms of America. But the whole point was to narrow that gap. It didn't happen. Creation of the Department of Ed didn't narrow that gap. Ever-increasing federal spending didn't narrow that gap. No Child Left Behind didn't narrow the gap. Nothing the feds have tried to do over the decades has had any impact on improving academic outcomes for students. So what have we gotten? A lot of administrative bloat. We now are in an environment where just 47.5% of all people in school districts are teachers today. So I would argue a lot of that is a reaction to having a federal agency, to having to comply with all of these federal mandates and regulations. So we've gotten a lot of bureaucratic bloat. We've gotten a centralized agency for special interest groups like the teachers unions to lobby, and unfortunately, bad outcomes for students and taxpayers.